Tune in to the Real Estate Roundup with the River Counties Association of Realtors. Join us every last Thursday of the month at 12 p.m. on Fiesta 99.1 and every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. on the Mix 104.1 as we explore the latest in real estate. Whether you're buying, selling, or just love real estate, don't miss our expert advice and exclusive insights. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's explore the dynamic world of real estate in our vibrant River Counties community. Catch Real Estate Roundup and make your property dreams a reality. Welcome to the River County Real Estate Roundup. And today, Kelli Paul is joining us. Kelli, welcome.
Good morning, Michael. So I'm Kelli Paul, and I'm president of the River Counties Association of Realtors for 2025. And I'm here this morning with our CEO, Michael Parent, and we're glad to have him. He's been with us now for almost 2 years, and he hails from Chicago. So we're glad to have him. So this morning, Michael, we're going to talk a little bit about the Association of Realtors and what the Association of Realtors does. So if you are thinking about becoming a realtor, or maybe you've been a realtor for a while and you have questions about the Association of Realtors, we're going to try to cover some of those questions you might have today. So, Michael, can you start us off by just kind of telling us about the River Counties Association of Realtors and what their primary function is?
Yeah, definitely, and I'm glad to be here. And River County Association of Realtors, we're located right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, right on Candies Lane Way, right off the highway. So easy enough to find us, right next to the skate place. So the association itself, we're the resource for the real estate professionals in our region. So Cleveland, Bradley counties, Hamilton counties, get into McMinn and Ray counties, we service quite a few areas. And we're there to help the agents, the brokers, keep their business legal, obviously, keep their business complying to our state laws, our national code of ethics. It's to be that trusted partner and voice for both our members and the communities we serve. The primary function, is providing service to our members so they can provide good service to their clients. And obviously, we all pride ourselves as being a licensed realtor as our professionalism. Ethical practices, making sure that we are doing what we should be doing by the seller or the buyer that we're working with, and we also do a lot of education. As you know, last year we had quite a few educational classes. We also get into Georgia licensing classes, helping our agents here with Georgia laws, 'cause we're right on the
right on that border. Yes, right on that border. So a lot of people cross over into that Georgia area.
Yeah, definitely. And and the other thing I think a lot of people may not realize is that the realtor associations, and we'll talk a little bit more about this throughout our show too, is that we advocate for our homeowners, our home buyers, to make sure that there's no overreach of the government interfering with somebody trying to sell their house or new stipulations on somebody trying to buy a house. Realtors across the nation are very big on advocacy. There's many times, last year at one point, there were 250 plus bills in our congressional cabinet here that affected housing. And if we don't pay attention to those, bills could be passed where all of a sudden you're impacted of selling a house or buying a house. So
yes, that's correct.
It's a never-ending business that doesn't
Never
stay the
stops.
same.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
It's continually changing. Well, as being a part of the association for many years now, I can attest to the fact that we need that association there on a daily basis, because you never know what's going to come up on a daily basis that you might have questions about. So Michael and Angela and Melissa, they're our full-time staff.
Yep.
We only have 3 staff to service over 600 members, and so they stay pretty busy. We keep them on their toes.
Oh, yeah.
So we always have questions, and they're always there to help us and if lead us in the right direction, give us the information we need, or put us on the right path to find that information. So we're thankful that they're there to help us in that regard. But yes, and there's a much bigger picture of how we do affect the community. So talking about the community, Michael, let's talk a little bit about what the realtors do in our local communities and in those counties that we talked about. We service the 6 counties. So what are some of the things that we actually do in that community that we, help out, and we play a significant role in that. So how do we shape our community?
Yeah, definitely. We support economic growth, sustainable home ownership. Obviously in this last number of years, it's been very challenging for affordable housing. In every area that we service, every area across the nation is struggling with that of affordable housing. So, homeownership is not a privilege, it's a right, and everybody should have a home. And, whatever we can do to help implement new programs on the government level, whether it's local or state level, to help that. The economic growth is what we're looking at. As we all know, Cleveland area, just for the few years I've been here, has grown and continuing to grow.
Tremendously. Yes, I think everybody's felt the growth. If you
Right.
haven't, you've seen the traffic. So that's
Yep.
a number one indicator that we are certainly growing. One thing I will add to that, Michael, while we're talking about housing, is we still have a shortage.
Right.
And especially of affordable housing, like you were saying, there is just such a shortage of affordable housing. And that's not just our local area that's facing that, but that's across the nation still. So we're looking at that, and that's not something that's going to be solved in a few months or maybe even a
Correct.
year. That's going to take a long time before we get that situation taken care of. And that's another thing where it comes into the advocacy. Can't even speak this morning. Is being aligned with our legislators so that we can help them know what we need
Right.
on a local basis and a state basis and even federal. So we work alongside our elected officials as well.
Yeah, and especially in May of every year, NAR, the National Association of Realtors, we have our legislative mid-year meetings in May, and we all converge upon Washington, D.C. And I think a lot of the people here, just in our general public, don't realize that we even take it to those levels, to those steps. And I've been a licensed realtor for 30 plus years, so have you, right? And we've seen all of this, and we're familiar with it, and we get involved in that. And even though our state legislatures are here, we go to their offices there in Washington, D.C.
That's correct. We knock on their doors.
Yeah, and we have to. If you think about a state legislator, there's so many things they got to keep track of. So for them to understand our business inside and out, as well as every other business, it's not easy. So we have to be there to help educate them on what they should support, what they shouldn't support, or if there's something they're supporting, maybe they need to modify it. And that's our job as well. And I really don't feel the community understands realtors playing a vital role in that.
That's correct. And we met with Chuck Flashman last year,
Correct.
and the first thing he said was, well, what's going on? What do I
Right.
need to know? You
Yep.
know, because you're right. They do have so many things that they're concerned about and having to keep an eye on and keep track on, that they don't always have their pulse on exactly what, the local area needs. So they appreciate
Sure.
us coming and saying, hey, here's what we're dealing with. Here's our local issues. Can you put that before somebody that can help us out with these things? And so one of the things that I'm proud of that we have fought for on so many different occasions is that we do not have a state income tax. We've
Right.
taken there.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that we've gone for them, and they've continued to fight for in the property rights. And I think that's important for everyone to know, every homeowner, every citizen of our area to know that we are there to fight for your property rights and your right to own your own home and to make it affordable, and the programs and a lot of that trickles down to even the lenders, because that helps them come up with better programs that can suit you for what your individual needs are. So it's a big picture that comes together and has to work all together.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it is all of us working together. And, there's sometimes that if we don't reach out to them, they could vote a bill up or down that really does, detriment our business. And, for real estate professionals, what we do with the community too is just getting involved in the community, helping the realtors really get into the grassroots, because without the community, the realtors don't have the business, right?
That's right.
And
another thing I just thought of was the impact fee. They've
Yes,
tried to get that
correct.
passed several times, and we've been able to, talk to our local legislators at the state and local level and tell them, just how much more burden that would put on a home buyer. And so we've been able to defeat that on several occasions as well. So otherwise, that would have been a fee that would have
Yep.
probably been put back on the homeowner, and that they would have had to pay.
yeah, and we work with the Home Builders Association, in conjunction with them, because when those impact fees are being pushed to them, that's going to be pushed to then the consumer. And so we have to work together on that to make sure that, again, we have affordable housing, because builders can't absorb all that, so it is going to be passed to the consumer. And, then it's going to make a house all of a sudden out of reach for somebody. So then we're back to the root of the whole problem again.
Exactly.
So, that did come up last year, and we do need to make sure that we stay on top of all of that as well.
Right. Well, something else, Michael, that general citizens and people that are thinking about becoming a realtor may not realize is that realtors do have to have continuing education every
Right.
year.
Yep.
You have to have 16 hours of continuing education. And there's several different avenues that you have to do in order to get your license and take your state and national tests. But then you do have to have that continuing education every 2 years, 16 hours. And so one thing that our association does that I'm very proud of, and this is I think we're probably one of the only associations that I know that does this. There may be a couple others, but we provide free education. So you can get every continuing hour that you need for free through our association. So they work really hard. Michael and Melissa and Angela work really hard to bring in instructors and different classes and certifications and designation programs, workshops, seminars, everything that we could possibly need to get those hours in. They help provide that for us. And also ethics. Part of that 16 hours that every realtor must have every 2 years is a code of ethics class, and they have to relive that code of ethics. And another thing that maybe the general public doesn't know is that when you become a realtor and you sign that oath and you are agreeing to take on the code of ethics, and we have that code of ethics that we abide by, and so we have to have training on that every 2 years. And the association is so good to make sure that we have that available to us, and several times throughout the year we have that. So talk a little bit about the education we had last year, actually.
Yeah, and actually right now today we got a code of ethics class going on right now, and the classroom is full. So
because we need that, we need to have it. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And last year, we did an array of classes. As we mentioned, Georgia classes. We had our obviously state classes here, and then we get into designation classes, which is a higher learning for the realtors that they can earn different degrees, designations in senior, experience. We have GRI, which is the Graduate Realtor Institute. I can't speak either. There's just all these different things of higher learning, and that's what realtors do, of investing in their business, to invest in themselves, to invest in a better process for their clients.
Just to be a better realtor and provide better service. And so if you're out there in the world and you see all these letters behind somebody's name and you have no idea what that means, well, that just means that they have taken the time out of their schedule to sit in a class, to learn this information, to learn this curriculum, and to get that designation. So they've actually put some time and effort and into that, so that they can be better and help you better and be more knowledgeable. So if you wonder what all those initials are past their name, it's kind of like being a doctor, I suppose.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
They've had classroom hours, many classroom hours to get that. So.
Yeah, definitely. And we're looking into this year to also holding pre-licensing classes. So if anybody out there is thinking about, I'd like to know more about, getting into this business and being a realtor, you can reach out to us at the association. Reach out to me in my email, michael@rivercounties.com. Quickest way to just shoot me an email. I'll get right back to you. But we are looking to hold those classes to help everybody. It's a great career.
Yes.
Like we just said, you've been in it 30 plus years, so have I. It's a great career. Nothing more rewarding than watching people buy their first home move up in a home or they're downsizing and they've lived a great life in another home. Just you're helping somebody with the most important thing in their life usually.
That's right.
We get to be a part of that, which nothing else replaces that. So.
And you create and you just get so many new acquaintances and friends, and just create that affinity with someone, and hopefully you'll just have that relationship for a long time, and help them through I'm on my second generation now, so that's kind of interesting. When I started, they had small children, and now I'm trying to help their children buy houses. So I don't know what that says. I'm getting old.
Well, you started this when you're 15. You're okay.
I know, right? Exactly. Well, what are some of the trends and challenges? I mean, gosh, every day is a different challenge. So what are the things we're seeing right now, current trends? Yeah,
so it is that housing inventory. We're starting to see more houses come on. We're still not quite where it should be, So we're starting to see more houses come on nationwide, and some markets are a little bit ahead of the curve and some are still behind. Here, our shortage is still there, so we need to see that happen. Interest rates, they're probably going to fluctuate a little bit this year, but not greatly. I think the days of the 2% and 3% are gone for a while.
Yep. Yeah, gone.
And, a 6% interest rate, if you look at it over the life of interest rates, that's a very healthy interest rate. I remember when we were at 14, 18%, buying my first house at 10.5%, I thought I won the lottery. So if you're at 6%, Easy numbers on that is $6 per thousand on your
Correct.
mortgage. So it's an
Yes.
easy way to compute what your mortgage payment will be. However, reach out to us here. We can put you in touch with a lot of our preferred partners, which are lenders in town here. They do a great job of helping you figure out what your price point should be, what
Yes.
your monthly payment's going to
And
be.
there's so many programs available that people are not aware of, but there's so many different programs, especially for those first-time home buyers. And
Yes.
and again, let me just define first-time home buyer just for a second, just on a general basis. The lender would probably have to, go in more in depth about that for you, one of our preferred partners. But that is if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years.
Right.
So a lot of people may not realize that. If you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, as far as the lending is concerned, you are still considered a first-time home buyer. So you can get some of those first-time buyer programs that, are no down payment. Maybe, there's all different kinds of ways you can do that. There's special programs out there if you're a policeman or a teacher.
Right.
In the military,
Yep.
that kind of thing. There's all
Veterans,
kinds
yeah.
of special programs, veterans.
Yep.
So, reach out to us and we can help you along the way and lead you into the lender that can help you with those programs too.
Yeah, no, you're right. And, so you could be 60 years old and be a first-time home buyer,
That's
like you
correct.
said. So people do have that perception of, I bought a house 25 years ago. Well, you haven't owned one for 23 years or whatever it might be. So yes, you can be that first-time home
And
buyer
speaking of
again.
VA too, sometimes a
Yeah.
lot of people may not realize that you can use your VA benefits more than one time.
Right,
So
correct.
if you've already bought a house using your VA benefits, then you can certainly use that again. So
Yep, definitely.
want to put that out there as well.
So, we're seeing prices, they're starting to, in my opinion, get stabilized a little bit, because, again, our markets have changed. Obviously, we're in a new year now, but don't wait for those interest rates. Now is a great time to buy. Again, 6%. If the rates do drop in a year, and let's say we go to 4%, refinance it. So
Correct.
don't hold off, because if you hold off going into that house this year and you wait till next year, your house might be 5 or 8% higher next year.
Correct.
So you're losing out on that equity. So buy it now. And as you just mentioned, we have a wealth of different programs that are available through all of our preferred partners. You could put down as little as 3% or 5%, or sometimes
Or you
there's
might
even
You
zero.
might even be eligible for 100%,
Yep.
where you don't have to put down anything.
Yep.
I've actually had closings where the buyer's gotten money back at the end. They
Yep.
may have paid for their appraisal up front that came out of their own pocket, but at closing they got that money back for that they had spent for the appraisal. So
Sure.
it may be that you can get in for zero down and. So I always say date the rate and
Yep.
marry the house.
Exactly. Yep. And the one thing I want to make clear too, our industry's changed a little bit. When you meet with your realtor, whether you're selling a house or you're buying a house, that realtor is going to ask you questions, right? Because a lot of people think, well, just show me a house. I'm sitting out in front of this house, call up a realtor, hey, come meet me. That isn't the best thing. It's not the best thing for the person on the other end of that phone, whether you're the realtor or you're the client.
Correct.
Meet that realtor in their office. Sit down, talk to them about what you're looking for, because just because there's a house for sale down your street doesn't mean that fits your needs and what you're looking for.
Right.
And with our industry, we have some new rules that have changed. Our realtors now are required to sit down with a buyer, discuss the whole buyer process with them so they understand it from beginning to end. So
That's
meeting
correct.
meeting on a spur of the moment at a house, again, that's a safety issue. It's not good for either side. Meet your realtor at their office, spend a half hour.
Right. You should be having that consultation
Yeah.
before, so that everybody's expectations are set,
Right.
and you know more about what you're looking for, what you can afford, what your needs are, what your
Right.
wants are. We
Yep.
can make a plan, put that together, and go from there. So
Yeah.
yes,
You know,
and
you-
the new rules, like you say, the new rules that's been put in place for all realtors is that we do have to have that meeting firsthand.
Right. And, you have an issue health-wise, you don't walk into your doctor's office and they take you right to the operating room. They ask you a series of questions
Right.
before they go to that step. So
That's to serve you better.
yeah, it's to serve you
Right.
better and to make sure that, they're doing the right thing. So our realtors, when they ask you, hey, meet me in the office, don't take that offensively or anything, that this is the way we need to do our business. And we need to make sure that you understand the whole buying process, because maybe there's things that you might not want to do right now. And you say, well, it's not the right time for me.
Sure.
But that's what has changed in our market a little bit over this last year. And that comes from some changes that the DOJ has pressed upon our industry. So we got to abide by it. And every realtor should be asking you to meet them there and just discuss the whole process. And then from there, then you go find your houses. We get you in
Correct.
touch with a lender, we know exactly what your price point is, and now let's get you out there. So
Yeah. Yes, well, we've definitely still got some challenges, and we work on them daily. As far as, like you said, Michael, affordability. Prices are still steady. I have noticed that the houses are on the market a little bit longer than they once were.
Right.
There was a time there that we put the sign in the yard and it was already sold by the time we got back to the office. Those days are kind of over.
Yep.
So I think I would still consider it a seller's market, but I think the average days on the market now is about 45 days or something, which is
healthy.
That's very good.
That's very good.
I mean, I've been in markets that's much more than that. Yes, more than that.
Yeah. Yep.
And one thing too to keep in mind is so many things have changed, but the buyer usually starts online now. 99% of the buyers probably are going to start online. They may have been looking for houses for 3 or 4 months before they ever contact you, the realtor. So they've already kind of pretty much vetted the market, so to speak, and they kind of know what's out there. They kind of know what the price ranges are. And so a lot of times with sellers, they think, well, I haven't had my house shown. I haven't had my house showed. Why am I not getting any showings? Well, your house is being shown around the clock, 24/7. People are sitting in their homes at midnight in their pajamas.
Yep.
They're looking at your house. So that's kind of how the whole world has changed since I got in the business, correct? And so that's not an indication of whether or not your house is getting the market activity that it needs. So just keep that in mind, that people have already been looking at your house for probably several months before they actually come to take that live tour, as we kind of say.
No, and you're right. And technology has changed that because, with our videos and, our, photos that we can now do all professional photos and really make a house look good and, give somebody a good idea of what that house is like before they have to physically walk through it. So,
and a lot of times with a vacant house and you can't really envision what that's going to look like. Well, now we have the virtual staging. Right. So, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that might not be a good thing. But at least if you've got a vacant house and you're trying to figure out in your mind, how's that actually going to work? How's the furniture placement going to work in there, or whatever? We've added the virtual staging, so now you can kind of get an idea of what a vacant house might look like. So there's so much technology. You can't keep up.
No,
there's no way to keep up.
Day.
It changes every day. There's something new that comes out every day, but it's all in an attempt to just make it a better buying experience, a better selling experience. Right. It's to help the realtor have more tools in their bag, to provide you with better service. Sometimes it's overwhelming, and you're just like, okay,
it is.
Right? Where do you draw the line? Where do you start? Where do you end? But anyway, it's all meant to help you have a better buying and selling experience.
Yep, definitely. So, as far as our realtors, it's not all just about selling houses, right?
Correct.
And,
absolutely.
You've been involved in a number of things as well within the community, and so is our association.
We really do pride ourselves on being a part of our community and reaching out to our community and giving back to our community. Right. Our community has been so good to us as far as, putting their trust in us and giving us those opportunities to help us to help them buy and sell their probably the biggest investment they're ever going to make in their life. So we like to give back, and we give back in several different ways. Yep. So a lot of people may not know how involved the realtors are in their community. So give us some of the ideas of what we are involved in on a yearly, daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, we support Habitat for Humanity. A number of us have been out there to help build a home for somebody that is in need, and it's always been a great. I've been involved with Habitat for Humanity when it very first started, many years, decades ago.
I remember one of my experiences with Habitat for Humanity was putting in the landscaping, which it was 105 degrees, and I was very miserable.
Right.
And then I drove by a couple years later, and it all died. So I didn't do a very good job. But listen, I did.
Hey, the heat around here is tough.
I know. I put in the effort. But anyway, yes, love working on the Habitat for Humanity houses. Yes.
In the caring place, we partner last year with Southern Heritage here with their yearly food drive for
Southern
the
Heritage
realtors.
Does such a great job with that. They've been doing that for so many years, and it's so amazing to see those truck after truck after truck just get loaded up with food and everybody coming out. And the realtors have always been such a huge part of that to make sure that is a success every year. And we just thank Southern Heritage for making that happen and putting that on and sponsoring that every year for the caring place.
And CASA, we partner with them on a number of things, and United Way right here, downtown Cleveland. We do a number of things with them. And last year we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club to raise some funds for them for our 5K fun run walk that we had. And
that was fun. I walked.
And it was right there on the Greenway and at Raider Park, and We are looking again to do that this year. We're going to do it in October again. This year it's going to be a Halloween theme.
Yeah, and we invite everybody to get
Yeah.
involved. It's not just for realtors.
No,
Anybody
just
can
the
get involved
community.
in that if you want to come out and support the local Boys and Girls Club
Yep.
and then, have some fun, get your exercise in. Yes, we really support that for everybody to do
Yeah,
that.
and making it a Halloween theme this year is going to be fun. We're going to do, for lack of better words, trunk or treating, but it won't be trunk or treating. We'll have a different name for it. But
Sure.
our preferred partners, our lenders, our title companies have all been supportive of that, and they're going to be there to pass out candy after you've completed your run or walk, and it's a great way for us to raise money for our charities right here locally, and that money goes right back into our community. This is not
Right.
going to national charities. This is going right back into our community. So we'll talk more about that on the mix here as we move along throughout the year.
Well, and changing it up just a little bit, unfortunately, we've had several disasters lately. We've
Yes.
had the hurricane in North Carolina. We've had the fires now in
California. It's unreal. Yeah.
We've just had just all kinds of things. So we are also, the National Association of Realtors, of course, has a relief fund that we can donate straight to, but we
Correct.
also do that on a local level. So River Counties Association has offered money or gave donations. Michael, you can speak to that.
Yeah, definitely. We helped the people here in the east part of Tennessee that were hit by the hurricane earlier or later in the year last year, and North Carolina as well. And it's everybody needs help, and realtors are usually one of the biggest and fastest groups to jump and help. And
That's
as you
right.
mentioned, the California fires, there's already been a ton of money raised by the realtor community. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented. Nobody's ever seen anything like that.
No.
None of us have ever lived through anything like that. And can't imagine what it looks like in person, let alone watching
Right.
that on TV.
Right.
So
It's devastating for both North Carolina and California.
yeah, so we are all there to help, like you just mentioned, locally or nationwide.
Well, that affects their homes, and
yeah.
that's where our heart is,
Yeah.
or in their homes, and when people lose their homes, that affects us. That's it's just a tragedy, and we hate to see that happen, but we like to reach out and help any way we can. So we do have funds for that we help donate and give to. So.
Definitely. Let me give, in our last couple minutes here, let me give our contact information again. So our office is right there at 2070 Candies Lane Way, right here in not downtown Cleveland, but right next to the expressway. 423 is the phone number, 476-5912. Again, Michael Parent, Melissa or Angela might answer the phone, or myself. But if you're looking to get into this business, reach out to us there. We can get you in the right direction with the state and help you out with that. Or email me at michael@rivercounties.com. But Kelly, in our last minute, tell a little bit about yourself. You've been 30 plus years, right? And you're working with...
Actually, yes, I did start in 1994, so I've been doing this for a while. So I've seen the markets, come and go, up and down, back and forth, and things have changed tremendously, and they still change every day. So it's just it's a changing industry, so it's always something new,
Right.
something to adjust to, but just always try to, like you say, learn, and every day's a learning experience, and just to offer a better experience for that buyer or that seller, and like Michael said, if you're looking to get into the industry, I would love for you to reach out to Michael at our association office and give him a call or an email, and he can certainly point you in the right direction and get you started on your journey to a career in real estate.
Yeah, definitely. And hey, I appreciate you being on the show today. You turned it around where you interviewed me. I'm usually interviewing, and I really appreciated that and enjoyed that. So it was a lot of fun. And River County's Real Estate Roundup is every Saturday from 8:30 to 9 right here on the Mix. If you miss it, you can go on to mixtv.tv, type in River Counties. You'll see all the different shows from our realtor members on there and take a look. Kelly, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Do you imagine a career with flexibility and limitless income potential? It's possible by becoming a realtor. The River Counties Association of Realtors, located right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, is ready to help you unlock your potential. We're your go-to resource for guiding you to obtain your Tennessee real estate license. We're more than just realtors. We're a vital part of our community. Partnering with local charities, we work tirelessly to make a difference. Join the River Counties Association of Realtors today, where your career can thrive and community can too. Visit rivercounties.com or call 423-476-5912. Your new path awaits.